Ms. Van Meter, after a recent medical scare, you realize it is imperative that you prove to the defendant that he is the biological father of your 3-year-old son, DeCedre, so you can put his name on the birth certificate. You are hopeful today's results will help save your family. Mr. Watkins, you say your paternity doubt has destroyed your relationship with the plaintiff, and when the results prove you are not the father, you are gone forever. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Van Meter, what is the current status of your relationship?
We are not in a relationship. We just live together at the moment.
Okay.
We broke up because of the simple fact that I cheated, and he has just stayed, and he's been there throughout everything. Throughout the whole birth, throughout my son being 3 now, he's just played his dad the whole time. I don't really know why he stayed. I just know he has stayed.
All right. So, Mr. Watkins, what's going on in the home?
Well, number one, I'm not going to leave a child without a father, because I grew up without a dad. So I'm going to just go ahead and do what I have to do as a man and still be there.
And I can see as you talk about that, you feel emotional. You've been very good to this child.
Yeah.
Despite your doubt, because it means something to you.
Right. Also, I play father to her other child that doesn't have a father in her life, so
okay.
I'm taking care of the whole crew.
And I understand that, and I respect that, but it's just like, he makes me feel like it's a financial thing of why he has stayed, and it's not, because we're going to be okay. And, I mean, I think he could still father my child even if he's outside of the house.
So, Mr. Watkins, what I want to understand from you is it's bigger than I'm just staying in the house because this child needs to have a father.
Right, because I found out she cheated, and that's what, like, I didn't understand why, because I felt like we're all adults. If you want to be in a relationship, you're going to be in one. If you don't want to be in one, you don't.
Okay, well, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, as they say. Because the cheating is what caused the paternity question.
Right.
All right. How did you find out she was cheating?
Well, I saw her on the couch texting, but I could clearly see what she's doing. She's texting and deleting messages. And she's like, oh, I was just talking to my friend. What you deleting messages for? Then she pretty much was arguing about it, the fact of what she was saying. And I was like, you wasn't saying that because you deleted them. So I left, just cool down, because I don't like sticking around arguing about nothing. So I was coming back. One of her family picked me up and told me that they saw her outside in the car doing what she was doing with the dude.
What?
Yeah.
You said doing what she's doing?
Pretty much she was having sex in the back of the car.
Ms. Van Meter, are you in the car with the guy you were texting?
Yeah, but it was because he was leaving, and I was telling him bye at first.
So
he came on to me. And it just ended up happening. It's not like it was intentional. He was just somebody.
Oh, so you did have sex with this guy you were texting and deleting messages with?
Yes.
So you admit that?
Yes.
So you had sex in front of the house in a car?
Yes.
And your family was inside the house?
Yes.
And then they told on you?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Watkins, you're riding in the car.
Yeah.
How do you find out that it's the guy with the text messages?
Well, she told me who it was, who the actual person was.
I was going to tell him when we got
and then
there,
my whole thing was, you said it was a friend. You said it was a friend, right? But that person that you claimed to be as your friend was the person that you said that you dated a while back.
A long time ago.
So it was never a friend. So you was on the phone with your ex texting, deleting messages.
This is the part. It always happens like this, because it's always that okie doke where it's like it's just my friend. And that's why in this courtroom we always ask, have you ever been intimate with that person?
No.
Because you had never been intimate with that person in the past?
No. Me and him.
So the first time you ever had sex with that person was in the car?
Yes.
I thought Mr. Watkins just testified that this was a person that used to date previously.
It didn't date him. When I talked to him, it was just talking. I never done nothing. We kissed, and that was all we did. It was before I met him. And then I met him, and I chose not to proceed with the other guy.
Okay, but even with the kiss, see, these are the little details that add up to the drama. Because when you said to him, it's just a friend, I'm just texting, and you texting and deleting message, he knew there was smoke there. Right. He knew that, because that doesn't make any sense. If you just texting a friend, then why you got to delete the messages? And then, look, I'm big. If I'm in a relationship, if it's a friend of yours, it better be a friend of mine. So if it's no friend of his, then he knew something was up. Now you say, I never had sex with this guy before, but I did kiss him.
Well, I guess they were making up for lost times.
But my point is, Ms. Van Meter, you do have this sexual encounter, and then you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long after that?
Maybe a week or two after the fact. I don't remember the exact date, but when I had sex with him, I did use protection.
Mr. Watkins, you seem like you don't believe that.
She didn't use it. She told me she didn't use it. And then she told me she did use it. She said she didn't remember. Then she said she didn't. Then she did. Then she said she did. So there you see where my doubts come from.
So, Mr. Watkins, the truth is you believe this man she had the encounter with in the car, could be DeCedre's true biological father.
Right.
Do you have any additional doubt or evidence?
I don't really have a bond with him. Like, I love him, but every time I see him, I just see him the same way I see her daughter. Is, you know, those are her kids. So I just see him as just a cute kid. He's cute. And he's awesome. And we play fight all the time. Sometimes he don't know when to stop. So I'm like, man, all right, we're done.
So, Mr. Watkins, when you look at DeCedre, do you see the other guy in him?
Yeah, I do.
He looks nothing like the other person. He looks like him.
But I have another daughter that's mine that when me and my kid's mom was trying to have her, it's almost just like exercising after a while. So, you know, eventually she got pregnant. I'm not fertile. So when
if you had a kid that
when she went and did what she did, like all of a sudden she's screaming she's pregnant. And then when we go, you know, the lady to tell her how many months she is, they read back to where she got pregnant. And she got pregnant around the same time that she cheated. So
it doesn't mean that you're not fertile. It could have been on her end that could, I don't know, it could have been anything.
Well, Ms. Van Meter, I'll have to say that I do agree with you on that. I mean, if he impregnated one woman, he could, in fact, impregnate another one, barring some circumstance that would render him, you know, unable to impregnate a woman. But you do understand that his doubt surrounding the timeline is real.
And I know that, and I told him that, and I respected that, and I told him he didn't have to stay. He has chose to stay. He was there during the whole birth. He was there. He cut my son's umbilical cord.
But, Ms. Van Meter, have you ever told the other guy he potentially was DeCedre's biological father?
I ran into him when my son was 3 months old, and he asked me if I ever found out if my son was his or not, and I told him that I did. Because I didn't want him involved, just because I want him to be the dad, because my son acts just like him.
He acts like me because he's around me. He's going to take up things from me.
But he looks.
But I want to understand this, though. You are admitting, Ms. Van Meter, that when you saw the other guy, you lied and said you had a test and that he was not the child's biological father.
Yeah, because I seen him with his child and with my daughter, which doesn't have a dad in her life, and I seen how he was.
Right, so you made a conscious choice to lie to the other potential father so that he would be off the trail of paternity and wouldn't try to establish that he was the biological father, because you decided in your mind you wanted Mr. Watkins to be the biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Van Meter, at this point, you admit that there are two possible biological fathers for your child.
Yes.
So his doubt is real.
Yes.
So this story you go to all the time of he just stayed and he can go because we're going to be all right, and everything you go through, all that stuff is ancillary. Because the truth is there's real paternity doubt here. But you're saying that you consciously threw the other guy off the trail because you wanted him to be your child's biological father because you saw him with the other children. Yeah. So I feel like even the testimony of he can go because we're going to be all right and I don't care is a lie too. Because if you didn't really care if he stayed or if he went, then why would you throw the other guy off the trail?
Because I love him and I do want our relationship to work. It's not like that I don't care if he leaves or not, because it would hurt me. It really would. I do love him and I care about him, but I don't want him to feel like he's trapped.
So the truth is you do want your relationship to work.
Yes, I do.
And you do want him to be the father of your child, not just in deed, right?
Yes.
But in name as well.
Yes.
In biology.
Yes.
And you're hoping that these paternity results will save the relationship.
That is because I had a scare about my cancer, and I had a biopsy done. At the end of the day, if something happens to me, I want my son to know who his dad is, because I want him to be there for that person and to know that he loves them and all that.
Who is on DeCedre's birth certificate? Who's listed as father?
Nobody. I'm the only one on there.
But he has Mr. Watkins' last name.
He named him.
No, I named his first name,
you
middle
gave
name.
Him his
I
whole
told you to name
name.
him your last name. You said no because that's what chicks do when they don't know who the father is.
No,
yeah,
I
you
told
did.
you. We sat down and we had a conversation because my son is named after somebody in his family. And we sat down and had that conversation, and he chose for my son to be named who he is.
Then why didn't I put my name on a birth certificate?
Because
I'm not
you
going to put
had
my name
doubt.
on a birth certificate or give somebody my last name when I don't think they're mine.
So you're saying that you didn't give her permission to give DeCedre your last name?
No, I didn't.
But you do admit you picked out the name DeCedre.
Yeah, I did. She says she don't care if I was to leave or asking why am I here or all this other stuff. But actually, in reality, she does, because I'm the only one who fronts all the bills. I work 3 jobs to take care of all of them.
Nobody asked you to do that. We appreciate it.
I do it
and
because
I know
I have
you
to.
do. And I know you do it because you love us and you care about us and you want to be there, but we didn't ask you. I mean, I don't take anything for granted that he has done.
But if it wasn't for me, you would not have a roof over your head.
There's shelters that we could go to.
Yeah. Nobody's going to choose a shelter for their kids.
It doesn't matter if I need to do that.
Don't talk like that, because that don't even make sense.
Okay, but if I need to do a shelter
you already
for the
know
time
why
being,
I'm there.
Why I get on my feet, then that is the
So listen. The man has stood by you, been through the birth with you, has helped raise your children. You standing there over and over again telling him how you just don't want him to feel trapped and he can go and he can go and he can go. I know your children up there talking about, Mommy, don't speak for me. Because I'm not trying to go to the shelter. Hold on. What I am trying to get at is the emotions that you're showing in this courtroom today. What it looks like is you are now in some way deflecting, that there is some level of guilt or there's something you're wrestling with. Maybe it's a defense mechanism. I don't know what it is, but everything you're stating in this courtroom right now contradicts every action you've taken up until this point. It doesn't even make sense. And that's why I have to ask you, I know you want him to be the biological father.
I do want him to be.
Listen, thank you. Just tell the truth.
I do, and I do want him.
All right, so you want him to be the biological father.
Yeah, because I don't want to hurt him.
But the truth is you do not know for certain that he is.
No, I don't.
Just tell the truth, okay? Don't sit up here and talk to man in circles and everything. He working 3 jobs to try to take care of you. He doesn't even know. He knows the other children aren't his. This one, he doesn't know if he is, but he's still there. He paying bills. He's standing by your side. He's at the hospital. And all he gets in this moment is you standing up here talking about, it don't matter to me. I'll go to a shelter. Nobody want to hear that. And them children ain't got time for that.
It's not like that.
Right. Don't say anything else, because you just told the truth. It isn't like that. It's not like that. That is not what you want.
No, I want him to be my child's father.
Right.
But I'm meaning if he is not, then we're not holding him to be there. I don't want him to feel like that. Of course.
What you're saying is I don't want you to feel on the hook.
Yeah, the whole time I want him to be the dad, though.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it wasn't coming across that way.
No.
But I know that was your intention.
Yes.
The doubt is real.
Yes.
And we have the answers. Jerome, envelope, please. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Van Meter versus Watkins, when it comes to 3-year-old DeCedre Watkins, It has been determined by this court, Mr. Watkins, you are the father.
All right. Ooh. That's my boy right there. No wonder he's so damn bad.
That's funny. I've never heard that. But Mr. Watkins, I'm so glad DeCedre will have his daddy in his life, and you will be able to be there, and most importantly, be able to break the generational curse that you spoke about when you first began to testify in this courtroom. That you had made up your mind you were going to be the father you did not have. Right?
Right.
And not only be the father, but be the example. So you know from this moment forward, he's taking his cues from you.
If he takes it from you, he'll be a hell of a man.
I was going to say it, but I'm glad you did, Miss Van Meter. And you need to know how lucky you are.
I am. I
and
know
honor that.
I know I'm lucky.
All right. Take care of your beautiful family. Court is adjourned.